Sophia, that's terrible. What did I do to deserve this? You're not needed anymore. I'm going to live with my mother, so please pack your things and leave as soon as possible. While I was talking, my husband Sam and mother-in-law Allison interrupted me with these words. They weren't even trying to listen to me. I could feel my heart growing cold rapidly. My name is Sophia. I'm 27 years old. I've been married to Sam for a year and a half. Sam is somewhat indecisive, but I thought it would be better to not live with someone too overbearing, so I married him. We both work, but we've been managing well by cooperating with each other. Amid such a life, the incident occurred just after the new year. The start of the incident was signaled by the doorbell ringing at 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning. As working individuals, we are not usually awake at 7 a.m. on a Sunday. Exhausted from the weekdays, we wouldn't wake up easily. Still, ultimately we gave in to the persistently ringing doorbell. Hello, who is it? Rubbing my sleepy eyes, I looked at the monitor with a groggy voice. There stood my mother-in-law. Sophia, why are you so slow to respond? Ahahahaha. What? Oh, Allison? Startled by my mother-in-law's crying early in the morning, I woke up my husband. Still groggy, I hurried him, and we opened the front door together in our pajamas. Mom, what happened to make you come so early in the morning? Sam. Help your mother. I've been kicked out of the house. As she said this, she started crying even louder. Come inside for now. Once inside, she sat down in the middle of the three-seater sofa in the living room. What happened, Mom? Did you have a fight with Carol? It's not that we had a fight. Carol just kicked me out of the house on her own. Carol is my husband's brother's wife. My mother-in-law was living with her eldest son's family. I took the opportunity to escape to the kitchen under the pretense of preparing tea for 3. I was curious about why she had been kicked out. While waiting for the kettle to boil, I listened intently. They've been criticizing me ever since we started living together. They say I'm causing the utility bills to skyrocket, and they don't like the way I cook. Terrible, isn't it? She's very energetic for this early in the morning. The stream of complaints seemed endless. I let out a deep sigh. The truth is, my relationship with my mother-in-law isn't that great. Our personalities don't mesh. If I choose right, she chooses left. If I agree, she disagrees. It's always been like that. My mother-in-law and her eldest son's family had been living together even before we got married, so I was relieved that I wouldn't have to live with her. But it was a bolt from the blue. I never expected that she would be kicked out and end up at our house. This morning, I finally couldn't take it anymore and talked back. Then, they told me to leave. I'm so sad and ashamed. I can't believe Carol would be so unreasonable. Is that really the case? Here's the tea. Sophia, thank you. You're on my side, right? That's great. I have nowhere else to go. Please let me stay here. What? I really struggle with her habit of making decisions on her own. This was a huge problem even during our wedding. She chose the wedding cake and the dress without consulting me. Don't decide on your own. This is mine and my husband's wedding. Moreover, my taste is completely different from her, so nothing felt right. It was very hard to persuade her without offending her, to change everything to what we wanted. That's a bitter memory. Even after marriage, she often makes plans on her own for Christmas and New Year's without considering our schedules, and I always struggle to adjust my work and other plans accordingly. I know what's appropriate. I'm not thinking of taking over your room. I just need a little space in my son's room, so don't worry." No, no, no. Do you really have common sense? And living here? How can you just spring that on us? Our home is a 2-bedroom company housing. Each of us has our own room. But there is no spare room at all. Even if she uses part of my husband's room, it would be a problem in this small house. Does she really intend to live here? My mother-in-law, this Sunday morning, brought something totally unexpected. After breakfast, she holed up in my husband's room. My husband is in there listening to her. While I was cleaning up after breakfast for 3, I let out a deep sigh. I decided to first talk to Carol about the situation. Since my husband is listening to my mother-in-law, I'll leave that to him. After hearing both sides, I knew I needed to grasp the full situation. "Hey, Sam and Allison. I'm going out to shop for lunch now." As I called out from the living room, both my husband and my mother-in-law suddenly popped their faces out of the door. "All right, be careful. Sophia, take care." Okay. Seeing the same faces peeking from the door, I truly felt, these two really are parent and child. On my way to the shops, I stopped by the park and called Carol. I had sent her an email before leaving the house, so she responded promptly. "Sophia, are you okay? So Mom really went over there, huh? Is she causing any trouble?" Carol started the conversation. "Carol, was it very tough for you?" "Actually, it was my husband who was more exhausted." "Your husband? That's strange. I hadn't heard a single word from my mother-in-law about her eldest son being tired. What was happening? What is Mom saying?" "Well," I relayed to Carol exactly what she had told me. Then Carol sighed and said in a serious tone, "I figured as much. Sophia, you really shouldn't take Mom's words at face value." This was Carol's perspective. Before moving in together, my mother-in-law and the eldest son's family had discussed how much money each would contribute to the household. However, that agreement was only upheld for the first few months. Now, she doesn't contribute even $1 to the household. My brother-in-law has repeatedly asked her to keep her promises, but she doesn't listen. She quit her job without anyone knowing and began using the household money for herself. She even used it for groceries, neighborhood association fees, and even her grandchildren's ballet class fees. Finally, Carol reached her breaking point and confronted her directly, after which my mother-in-law played the victim. This situation continued for a long time. My husband and I were completely unaware, but the eldest son's family had stopped keeping cash in the house because of this. Out of pride, my mother-in-law never begged her eldest son for money and tried to manage with her savings and pension. Then, my husband got involved in the situation. He once told her that he had won some money at the casino and gave it to her. That changed everything. My mother-in-law started criticizing the eldest son and praising the younger son. And then this morning, "I can't stand this terrible situation any longer. Sam will surely treat me better." She screamed this and stormed into the eldest son and his wife's bedroom. Then she suddenly left the house without listening to anyone. That was around 6 a.m. today. I couldn't hide my confusion. The story I heard from Carol was entirely different from what Allison had told me. Carol, concerned, gave me some advice. Never make any promises with Mom. You can't trust her. Understood, I replied and ended the call. While shopping, I compared the stories from Allison and Carol. There were no points of agreement at all. I don't know who to believe. For now, I have no choice but to discuss this with my husband. I'm back. When I returned home, Allison and Sam were in the living room. They greeted me with smiles. "Welcome back. We're about to go out to buy some things Mom needs. Sophia, you rest at home. We're going to have lunch." What? Didn't I say I was going out to buy groceries for lunch? Going out to eat? And buying things she needs, does that mean she really plans to live here? How long will she stay? Surely not forever? Well, we're off then. Wait. Just a minute. Despite my attempt to stop them, Sam and Allison had already left. I can't believe it. Even if it makes me seem narrow-minded, I don't care. I absolutely do not want to live with my mother-in-law. It's too stressful. It would only add to my mental burden. I'd have to endure and just get by every day. What should I do? There's no sign that she intends to return to the eldest son's family. It seems like my husband is indeed okay with her staying with us. And after she left their house, the eldest son and his wife probably didn't intend to chase after her. This is a real mess. Feeling utterly disadvantaged, life began to seem despairing. Muttering, "I hate this. I hate this," I laid down on my bed and immediately felt something was off. My makeup had been rearranged. Did Allison use these? If she was going to use them, I wished she would have asked beforehand. Moreover, I can't stand the thought of her entering my room without permission. While there's no concrete evidence that she entered my room and used my cosmetics, I can't shake off the discomfort. Maybe I'm getting overly sensitive after hearing everything from Carol. But the sense of something being wrong was undeniable. Driven by anxiety, I checked around my room, closet, bookshelf, trinket holder. I gasped without realizing it. $100 was missing from the $300 I had tucked away in a drawer. I was planning to deposit this money into the bank tomorrow. There should have been $300, but now there was only $200. This can't be true. Carol's stories became all the more believable. The forewarning from Carol and the missing $100. I vividly pictured my mother-in-law taking money from the house as described by Carol. I felt a profound sense of crisis. It's not just a clash of personalities introducing financial issues is too much. This situation is untenable. Living with my mother-in-law is absolutely impossible. Sam and Allison returned around 9 p.m. Finally, while she was in the bath, I had the chance to talk with Sam. "Hey, what's going to happen with your mother from now on?" "She'll be staying here with us." "I don't want that. I can't live with her." "What? What are you talking about?" I was perplexed by my husband's reaction. "You're being cold. Mom was kicked out of my brother's place. Actually, I talked to Carol, and it turns out she wasn't kicked out, she left on her own. Even so, how can you so easily cast out a parent with nowhere to go? It doesn't have to be immediate. We could rent an apartment for her, and once everything is set up, she can live there. You know we don't get along, right? That's because you never accept any of Mom's considerations. You've had your complaints about her too. Did I? I don't remember. But living together shouldn't be a problem. She said she'll contribute financially to the household. That's exactly what I can't believe. Those are just verbal promises. Sophia, that's terrible. What did I do to deserve this? What? Suddenly, a sharp cry came from behind. Surprisingly, Allison was in the living room, fresh out of the bath. She couldn't have been in there more than 5 minutes. It was a real whirlwind. You think of me like that? I can't leave my precious son with someone like you. Break up with him. What? Break up? that escalated quickly. My son is a wonderful boy. He cares about his parents, is compassionate and kind. He's so much better than his brother. It's a waste for him to be the younger son. I can't leave such a wonderful son with someone like you, who's so twisted. Break up. I'll live with my son. Leave." While shouting, a smirk appeared on my mother-in-law's face. It was strange. "Why are you smiling, Allison?" "What? You got out of the bath too quickly, didn't you? Were you waiting for me to say something wrong? I didn't hear the hairdryer, and your hair isn't even wet." "What?" "No, don't say such rude things." She was clearly flustered. Looking at my husband, he was avoiding eye contact with me. It was all too clear. These two were conspiring to drive me out of the house. I could feel my head getting hot with anger. "Who's being cruel here?" "Sam." "What's going on?" "What? Me. Who else is here? If there's someone else, call them." My husband looked back and forth between me and his mother, me with eyes widened in anger, and my mother-in-law with a smirk. "Sam." "It's okay, just say it clearly." Encouraged by her, he nodded and suddenly began to speak fluently. "We don't need you anymore. I'm going to live with Mom, so pack your things and leave as soon as possible." "What?" At my angry shout, he momentarily faltered. "See, my son also says he can't live with you. The problem is you, Sophia." As if declaring the culprit is you, she pointed directly at me. "Yeah, that's right, that's right." My husband chimed in, waving his hands vigorously. "What is this? He was just cowering a moment ago." Although my relationship with my mother-in-law had always been strained, at this moment, any love I had for my husband completely vanished. Not a trace left. Completely. Why is he like this? He never really listens to his wife, only obeys what his mother says. It's infuriating. Unforgivable. All right then, we'll get a divorce. What a divorce. Sophia, I'm really relieved that you understand in the end. That's good for you, Sam. What? What? It's not what. Why are you so condescending? I don't need any property division. I'll take all the furniture and appliances I bought. Can we agree on that? Yes, that's fine. Right, Sam. Allison is in a very good mood. Sam looks bewildered by the sudden turn of events. You'll regret this later, I won't care. That night, we downloaded and filled out the divorce papers from the City Hall's website. It feels a bit rushed, but I absolutely refuse a life dependent on my mother-in-law. I don't need a husband who resents me. Allison volunteered to be a witness on the divorce papers, and I asked Carol to be the other. After that, we immediately submitted the divorce papers. We also made quick progress with the moving preparations. After submitting the divorce papers, I didn't speak to my husband or mother-in-law at all. It felt like we were strangers who had coincidentally ended up on the same train. It wasn't comfortable, but this was just something to endure until I moved. Then, on moving day, I gave instructions to the movers and had them start moving out the belongings. As the furniture and appliances were being carried out one by one, my mother-in-law exclaimed in shock, "Sophia, why are you even taking the air conditioner? Because all of these items were purchased by me. Where did the TV go?" The TV, along with the washing machine, vacuum cleaner, microwave, and hairdryer, are all mine. Before we got married, Sam lived in a studio with built-in furniture and appliances. On the other hand, I lived in a regular rental and had bought my own furniture. When we got married and moved in together, I brought most of those items to this house. I decided to leave the refrigerator here because we bought a larger one after getting married. And the scale too. How could you? Put them back. We can't live like this. Sam knows that most of the furniture and appliances are mine, right? Sam watched the belongings being taken away, stunned. The movers also paid attention to the exchange between my mother-in-law and me. I asked the workers to continue their tasks without worrying. Throughout the process, Allison kept criticizing me relentlessly, coldly and directly, muttering under her breath. With an expression of disbelief shared with Sam, pretending to break down crying, she attacked me in various ways. It's impressive how she managed to employ such a diverse array of criticisms in such a short time. Perhaps her older son had also been continually hurt by her accusations. I felt sympathy. After all the work was done, I asked my mother-in-law, "By the way, have you guys found a new place to live yet?" New place to live. Yes, because this house is provided by my employer as company housing. What? Allison was shocked, as if a major incident had occurred. Company housing? The one from the company you work for. That's right. So, when I move out, the two of you won't be able to live here anymore. What? I've already informed the company about the divorce and provided them with Sam's contact details. You should be hearing from the Human Resources Department soon. Goodbye, then. I cheerfully said this and left. Allison stood there, stunned. Sam could only nod with an indescribable expression on his face. My new home is a single-person company apartment. The previous one was meant for families. The move shortened my commute, and now I have a little more time in the morning. I only have to cook for myself, and I can drink as much as I like. How comfortable it is to live alone. I am thrilled every day by the joy of living by myself. As I was enjoying a drink after work, my smartphone rang. The call was from my ex-husband. Feeling good, I answered the phone, even though I normally wouldn't have. "Sophia, I was wrong. Please come back." As soon as I answered, my ex-husband exclaimed, "I am back home." Not that, I mean come back here. Why should I? What are you even saying? It's really quite amusing. I couldn't help but laugh at this ridiculous situation. Actually, I got a call from the HR department at your company. They said it's okay for us to continue living here. That's good then. Not good. The rent here is $1,300. Well, it's a great location, so it's understandable. It's a family property close to the station, so that price is reasonable. Previously, the company provided a rent subsidy, and we split the remaining amount. That was the $300 I had at home, of which $100 was taken by my mother-in-law. I got manipulated by my mom. She told me she had nowhere to go, that I was her only hope, that she was relying on me. I ended up pushing you away, not because I wanted a divorce. Oh, is that so? But we are already divorced. Too late now. Besides, I can't make ends meet with just my income. It's tough to manage the rent and get all the appliances, not to mention taking care of my mother. What are you saying now? You should have known this long ago. Sophia, I was wrong. Won't you come back? You told me to leave. Plus, I can't become family with your mother again. Goodbye. Wait. Sophia, as if I'd wait. I turned off my smartphone and cracked open a beer. Yes, it tastes so good. I no longer need a husband who underestimates his wife just because he's flattered by his mother. I completely forgot about my ex-husband and blissfully enjoyed my drink. The next morning, I rushed to work. Since I had turned off my smartphone, the alarm didn't go off, and I almost overslept. It was a close call. I slid into the office just before starting time and checked my smartphone after sitting down. As expected, there were countless messages from my ex-husband. I ignored them all. What I was really looking for was... there it is. An email from Carol. Yes, an email from Carol. Are you enjoying living alone? Thanks to you, our family has also successfully moved. Thank you. That's great. It looks like Carol and her family have finished moving too. In fact, anticipating my ex-husband's surrender, I had suggested that the eldest son and his wife move. It's unlikely that my ex-husband could maintain the standard of living Allison desires. If so, she would probably try to return to the eldest son's place. But of course they would not want her back. So it was better for them to disappear before she shamelessly tried to return. I made the suggestion about moving when I asked them to be witnesses for the divorce. After several family meetings, the eldest son and his wife decided to move. I don't know where they moved to, I replied to Carol. Congratulations, I'm relieved for you. Several months later, Sam and Allison had to move out of the company housing. He couldn't afford the $1,300 monthly rent, so moving was inevitable. They moved to an old apartment far from the station. This was in the exact opposite direction of my new residence. Allison probably thought she and her son could continue living in a family apartment near the station. When that plan fell through, she quickly began blaming her son. Of course, she hadn't contributed any money to the household as she had promised. She tried to return to her eldest son's place at one point, but they had already moved and someone else had moved into their old home. She didn't even know where they had gone, so she reluctantly went back to my ex-husband's place and unleashed her displeasure. Sam kept contacting me, asking for help whenever he could. But I'm done with that. I enjoy being on my own. I had gotten so tired of the frequent updates about my ex-husband that I changed my phone number. Now, I won't be bothered by my troublesome mother-in-law anymore. There's no more worry about being followed by a hopeless man who always listens to his mother. This divorce has steered my life in a better direction. I just turned 27. A single failed marriage is nothing to fret about. After all, life is still ahead of me.